The new year is here, 2023, and it's filled with a lot of opportunities. AI is taking over the world. A lot has happened in the social media space over the last year. So the question is, how are you going to make 2023 the best year on social media ever? Because I'm telling you, there are so many huge opportunities in the space at the moment that you can and should take advantage of. We actually covered this subject about these opportunities a little bit more in depth in a past video, so I'll make sure I'll leave a link down in the description so you can watch it. But in this video, I'll share with you two of the most efficient and effective content strategies that you can implement in 2023 to get ahead of your competition. And at the end, I'll also share some bonus tips with you that hopefully come in handy over the next year. And both these strategies are focused on getting the most amount of results with the least amount of effort. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it, and let's start with strategy number one, which I like to call the pyramid strategy. Because as you'll see, it looks a little bit like a pyramid because you start all the way at the top, and that's writing a piece of long format content. It can either be a blog or an article. And then the next step is basically taking that article that you wrote and translating it into a script that you can use to record a long format video. So for example, a video that I'm recording right now. So then you basically have these two pieces of long format content. And by the way, these two are pretty interchangeable. You can also start with a video and then translate it into a blog or an article or vice versa. And the next step is squeezing these long format pieces of content for as many small pieces of content as possible. So for example, the video, you're going to cut it up in as many small pieces of video content as possible, the so-called short form content. As well as the text, you can also just take the article and use small pieces of that and use it as quotes under your LinkedIn post or as your Facebook or Instagram post. So let's use a quick example. Let's say I'm a personal trainer and I want to tell people how to lose fat. So let's say I start by writing a long article about how to lose fat, and there's like 5 steps how to do it. Then I translate this article into a video, 5 steps to lose fat efficiently. Then I have these 2 pieces of content. Then I can easily cut this video up into one individual step. So I'll end up with 5 short form content videos. And maybe you can even squeeze 2 more out as a trailer or maybe some extra tip to actually attract people to that video. And the same goes for the article. I can really summarize these 5 points, use it as a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post, and actually spark some interest for people to go to the article and actually read the article as a whole. And of course, it's important to make sure that you deliver value across this pyramid. So if people consume these small pieces of content, they have to get somewhat of value. So basically you give them a teaser of the amount of value that you'll give in the long pieces of content. So this way, it's a really efficient way to make a lot of content and actually build up your funnel. So in that sense, I guess you can also call it a reverse pyramid, which is basically a funnel. But anyways, let's go to strategy number 2, and that is the podcaster. So this content strategy has actually been around for a while now, but it's still one of the most efficient and effective ways of marketing on social media, which is why I figured sharing this strategy with you anyways. With the podcaster strategy, you basically make a podcast. So the most amount of effort is going to be sourcing guests, making sure the conversation actually runs smoothly, setting up everything. Of course, you need cameras, you need audio, you have to make sure you have a room you can actually do the podcast in. But once everything is set up, it's actually fairly easy because you just sit down with your guest, talk about a really interesting subject in your niche that people are interested in. You talk for like 1 or 2 hours, and then you have your piece of long form content. And the best thing is you can easily just use the audio, post it on Spotify, iTunes, you can post it on SoundCloud. You can also just post the entire video on YouTube. You can even write out a summary of this podcast and post it as a blog or an article. And again, you're going to use this long format piece of content and translate it in as many small pieces of short form content as possible. So preferably you want to cut up the video and post it on, let's say, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. It's a great way to get people interested for your long format content because it's a pretty big commitment for people to watch a 1 or 2 hour video. And the same goes for text. You can easily just translate or write out or summarize some of these small pieces of content within your podcast and post it as a post on LinkedIn or wherever you want to post it. So again, the core principle of all these strategies is make a piece of long format content that you can easily translate into other pieces of long format content, and make sure you translate this into as many pieces of small short form pieces of content as possible. And that brings me to some bonus tips that will definitely help you out to actually grow on social media. And the first one is actually post every single day. We've seen great results with our clients clients when they post every single day, sometimes even twice a day. And again, that's why I put so much emphasis on actually translating your piece of long format content in as many small pieces of short form content as possible. Because if you want to post every single day, you obviously need the quantity of content to actually keep up with that demand. And the second one, and this is actually a subject that I want to go a little bit more in depth in a next video, and that is use ChatGPT, which is a AI tool that recently got launched to come up with some title ideas and come up with some scripting ideas. I wouldn't recommend just literally copy and pasting and just simply just saying like, hey, write out an article for me and just copy paste that and use it on your website, for example. Because again, there could be a lot of mistakes in that article, so you definitely want to double check it. But especially if you do this by yourself, it could be a great way to keep up with the high demand of content, because daily posting is definitely something that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work. So this could definitely be a tool that you can use to come up with some inspiration, come up with some ideas, some title ideas, you name it. And the third one is just simply reuse or repurpose content that has shown to perform really well. And I do have to say, this is a little bit more for short form content, simply because of the way it's consumed, because people nowadays are consuming so many pieces of short form content every single day that they might see your post, they might like it, but they just simply forget about it like 2 weeks later. So let's say you posted a video that performed really well and people absolutely loved it, they got a lot of value from it. You can easily just simply reuse or repurpose that content in like 1 or 2 months later, because again, like people are seeing so much content every single day that they simply forget about it. So they won't mind seeing your piece of content again a month later in their feed. So it's actually a win-win situation. You can easily just remake a video about that subject. You can rewrite it. You can simply repost it. I do have to say, don't repost it too many times because people will get sick of it if you just post it like 20 times or anything like that. But it could be a great way to, again, keep up with the demand of so much posting every single day. In the next video, I'll talk a little bit more about the rise of AI, because that's obviously something we cannot ignore in 2023. So if you have any questions or any ideas that you want me to cover regarding that subject, please let me know, and make sure you like the video if you got some value from it, and I would love to see you in the next video.